Welcome to the Guiding Beacon. This is Blaine and Colby with our technically first edition of the
All
podcast.
right, that's what I was going to say. We definitely have not recorded this before. This is absolutely 100% our first time doing this, right?
Don't you lie in here. Don't lie in here. We're not about that. What happened was yesterday we tried to record our first episode and we did great. I would say it was excellent.
Yeah, great conversation.
Beautiful conversation. It's just wonderful. Funny, good, just wholesome conversations. And after an hour and a half of recording,
Yeah,
we look at the phone and realize that only 35 minutes
Yeah.
have been saved. And part of that 35 minutes was us just kind of having to
Right.
stop and take a break and figure
Right.
out
I think
what
a
we were
lot-
doing. It's important for y'all to understand who we are. We are the two faces that you're going to see the most around the lighthouse. We were kind of the faces of the lighthouse before, too, and that we were always here. But now we're actually working it. Me and Colby were both part of the youth program a while back, and we're hoping to get it back together for you. So I'll go ahead and I'll introduce myself. I'm Blaine. I'm the new youth minister. I'm really enjoying the work so far, being able to bring changes to the lighthouse where it needs to be changed and bringing stuff back to where it needs to be. I'm really wanting to make sure they understand just the significance of this, though, not just really talking about the physical layout of the lighthouse.
I'm Colby, and
Hi, Colby.
now I'm the assistant director of faith formation.
Ooh, official.
So, you know what? Everything else that is youth related is my department, basically. Whatever VBS.
I've just got the party side of it.
Yeah, VBS. PSR classes, and that's all me. So,
And I mean, I am one of your PSR
right?
catechists.
Yes, you are. You are one of my PSR catechists. So, for me, I started my sophomore year of high school and came to one youth night and signed up that night to be on youth board. And I was here as much as I could be. So that was about 12 years ago now. I've been trying to help anywhere I can. So I'm excited to do this and get into some of we won't get totally into it, but some of our ideas to, since we were both involved, we kind of know what worked and
We're going to make it work again. Make youth group great again.
Without, going into too much detail, I think, we gave the building a fresh coat of paint, some spots, and some will get some more paint. But, we have the game room and
that's video games and just
video
regular,
games,
like just
yeah.
ground game. We have like air hockey and foosball.
Right. We got different stuff like that. So, for middle school, as far as like food, Capri Suns and we'll have snacks, chips, candy, whatever, that kind of stuff. But high school will get some full meals, whether that's one of us cooking or hopefully we can get some people to donate some meals from time to time.
And that's not because we just love high school more than
Yeah.
middle school. That definitely isn't the case. It's just because trying to afford food for as
Yeah.
many kids as we're expecting to have is going to become pricey. We need to kind of watch where we're
Right.
spending money because we want to make sure the money's not just being all used on food. We want to make sure that the money's being used to make this a better place for you to come and
Yeah.
have our youth nights.
But hopefully we can do some other, home cooked meals.
And if not, you
So-
got me. I'll take care
Yeah.
of you. Should we go into more detail just about ourselves at this point? We talked about, or do you want to talk more about the typical youth night? Because I know we had brought up that we were going to talk about ourselves, but we kind of went off track.
I know.
We didn't say much about ourselves. We're kind of a mystery.
I mean, most of my time has been for the last 12 years, pretty much been spent doing whatever I can around here. I mean, I was always super involved. So that was most of my free time went to that, honestly. And I feel like it kind of still does, but that's not a bad thing, you know. Obviously, I think we've both had that conversation that we enjoy being here. So, you know,
I mean, I'm the kind of person that it is very hard for me to tell someone no
you're right.
when it comes to helping out with anything.
Yeah,
It's kind of a problem that I've developed. So anytime that we have people come and asking me to come and volunteer to
right.
do any of the work that we need done over here,
But even,
it is impossible for me to say no to.
I don't know. You know, you can ask me some questions. What would you like to know about me,
I
Blaine?
don't
What
know.
should I
I
say?
mean, the crowd needs to know more about us. You need to know more about who is Colby Novo.
I think being in the youth group definitely got me out of my shell and more willing to talk. Even doing this, something like this podcast, I definitely wouldn't have been able to
Oh, I
used
was
to do.
definitely the same
But
way.
yeah, being in the youth group, you know, I'm more. It depends. I'm not going to say any situation. There's definitely some situations that I do not like getting in front of people and talking, but something like the youth group, you know, I guess where where it's fun, it's not there's not really any pressure on you to say the right thing, right? That's,
I,
you
I
know, I'm
mean,
comfortable in those situations.
I can relate to that because I was not always the extrovert that I am today, talking to everybody and really getting into everything and making sure that I'm part of CCD or PSR. I
Right.
always mix those two up. Making sure that I'm talking with that, making sure I'm doing volunteer work, being part of the youth group. I wasn't always like that. I was very quiet. And it just goes to show you the transformation that I'd gone through just with the youth group. Starting off being the person that just would not talk.
Yeah.
Would not talk to anyone.
Well, I mean, my junior year of high school in English, we would get stamps every week for asking questions, or if we gave an answer or we read, and you had to get so many. Well, I don't know if y'all did that. Um, I don't know if y'all had to do that. When I was a junior, all the classes did that. I don't know if they kept doing that when you were there,
No,
but
my teacher was different for 11th
oh,
grade
okay,
in English. He wasn't by the book kind of teacher either.
okay. Well, um, anyway, I'm
If you're
not a
out there, Miss Trout, we
person.
love you.
So, you know, I would get the stamps for, you know, turning stuff in. You know, I guess that kind of stuff. But if I had to, you know, I did not volunteer to read, and I certainly didn't ask questions. You know, I'm more of a sit back and listen person. So I would have weeks that I did not get all my stamps, but I don't know. That just wasn't. I didn't want. I didn't. You know. I may know the answer, but I'm not going to give you the answer. Kind of person. You know. I'll sit back and listen. I never really asked questions in class. I
I'll
was just
tell you,
always too scared to
you're
talk.
the kid that is the real nightmare for student teachers like me because
Yeah.
they mark us off if kids aren't talking back to us
Yeah.
and like responding to us. We get points off because you were not responding, and you probably costed people points, Colby. How does that
I
make you
don't
feel?
know.
That's
You know. Yeah. I probably knew some of the answers, but I was too scared to talk in front of people to give them or anything. But anyway, felt like
I
I
mean,
got a little bit
I
off
would
topic there,
say
but
that my biggest example of how I've just come out of my shell with that is with the hat that you see on display over here. Hopefully, it's in frame.
yeah, I think
Straight out of the Vatican. If you can't read it, look, here we go, right here. A while back, the youth group numbers were dying, and at the time, Lynette Sheffett was getting ready to leave youth board, and a lot of people were, our youth group, a lot of people were about to leave with her because they didn't want to be a part of the youth group without her. She was just such a major part of the youth group. And I decided that I would try to do something that brings in more youth, and I wasn't known to do anything just extroverted at that point. I would say I was still kind
yeah,
of in that shy phase at that point. Me and my buddy Connor DeLon had decided we were going to do something different that would try to attract people in. I'd listened to this priest who had done this little parody song, Thrift Shop but Catholic. And
yeah,
I thought it was really cool. And I told Connor, you know, it'd be funny because actually at this time I was discerning the priesthood. I was thinking about being a priest. And I said, you know, it would be really cool is if I would get the whole get up, like look like Macklemore, but as a Catholic priest. And I put on the coat. I put on just the beads and
Yeah.
everything and chain, and I had on the big ugly shoes and everything. I got the hat off of Amazon, and I performed Catholic thrift shop at my house with one of the worst camera jobs that you will ever see, with some of the worst singing that you'll ever hear.
Well, Blaine, I will say the camera work wasn't that bad.
Okay. So it's just the singing. It's just this. Okay. Maybe I'm trying to push some of the blame over on the Connor,
You
but a
know,
lot of it was me. But recently, a lot of people have been asking me to redo or like do this live
yeah.
and sing
Well,
stuff, and they've asked me for new songs,
yeah.
and I have some. There's some that we
I
were working on.
and I do want to say, we're talking about this video, but I guess I have no proof that the singing was bad because unfortunately I did decide to, I wasn't thinking, Blaine, you created a whole new YouTube account and everything, and I said, okay, let's keep everything consistent. So I shut down the account that I created, and yeah, we had a couple of Father Biggie uh, videos on there,
There was
and
Catholic Thrift
some,
Shop.
yeah,
There was
and there was
Old
a
Town
lyric video.
Jerusalem.
Yeah, there
That
was a
was
yeah,
Old Town Road, but
yeah,
Holy Week.
which we promised. I believe in the video we promised to have the actual video. That was just a lyric video of that one, but anyway, I deleted that account. It didn't really cross my mind to download that stuff before I deleted it. So those videos are gone forever.
It has
Unless you
been. I've had to
recreate
do
them.
this live before, so people do have
Yeah.
videos somewhere out there. There are people that have videos of me
But
singing.
the official music video has
Yes.
been deleted. But I guess you can recreate that if you really want to.
If you would like us to recreate it, you need to let me know. I'm definitely willing to. If it gets more people back in this youth
Right.
group, I am willing to do it again.
And you're welcome to do that. I will be behind the camera,
Come on,
but
Colby. You know you want to be up front.
I do not. But anyway, I want to go back to the building real quick because I thought about something. Um, like we said, we're kind of still in the process of work on stuff. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to go back. One other thing we didn't talk about. In the hallway now, right, we have a big, almost the entire sidewall when you walk in is a chalkboard.
You may be able to see
Right.
the lighthouse that's drawn on
Right.
top.
Yeah. If you look through the window, right here, I believe somewhere should be pointing at it right here. Right. You can see a lighthouse that Blaine drew on our chalkboard.
It's beautiful.
That was not on purpose. I was not trying to get that in the shot, but when I was first testing the camera, I saw that. So
I like to believe
thought
that
it was
deep
nice.
down I
Yeah.
knew that it was going to be there.
right,
And the reason it's there is just so you can tell us what you want from the lighthouse. We want to make sure
Right.
that me and Colby are facilitating what's happening back here. We're making
Yeah.
sure that you are having the fun that you want to have. But we need like your input. We need your suggestions on what we're going to do with with the youth nights.
Yeah,
So if
yeah.
you really want a certain game that you want to play or a game that you really liked, let us know on the chalkboard wall. Because I'm always going to
Yeah.
check that to see what you're enjoying and what you want to do again. That way it's all about you.
But anyway, what I was going to say, as far as being in the process of work on the building, you may notice that our soundproofing is only like halfway up behind us. Unfortunately, that was something that Blaine was in charge of doing, and he didn't get enough. So
Well, you see, what had happened was I was on Amazon looking at the soundproof tiles, and I found this pack of 52. And it's like, oh man, that would be perfect. That would cover this wall. 52, and it's
Right.
all square foot tiles. So 52 square foot, that would cover the wall that we need to cover.
right,
And so I was looking, I was like, I'm going to go ahead and order this. I'm going to put it down. And then I saw they had some self-adhesive ones. So I wouldn't have to go and stick each one of these to the wall
yeah,
individually. What I did notice is that you get 52 non-self-adhesive, but you get 24 self-adhesive. So we have 24 up right now, not 52.
right. Right.
That's my bad. I
So
gotta admit, I was really excited ordering this. I just had to hurry up, throw it in the cart,
right.
so I could get it as quick as I could. I was ready to put it on the walls, and then as I'm putting it up, I'm like, this is not 52
Yeah.
tiles. Sure enough, go
To
back
be
over the
fair,
order.
when it came in, even when you first opened it, right, it was vacuum sealed, so you
It
couldn't
was.
tell at the time. But so my point is that even this podcast is, we went ahead and started because we want to get it out there. But
Hey,
even
you're going to be
this,
growing with us.
yeah,
You're going to watch us grow.
even this is still in the process of being built, and we have ideas, but those may evolve too. So, but anyway, that brings me into the next thing, that what we're hoping to kind of achieve with this podcast, or what we want to do with it, why we're even bothering with this, because who knows if anybody's even going to listen, but we're doing it anyway. So the youth group is here for the community, right, to build a family.
I'm a teacher.
Right.
Colby
Yeah.
is a faith formation.
Right. In some way, in some
What's the title again?
assistant director of
There we
faith
go,
formation.
assistant director of
Right.
faith formation,
But there's
sorry.
sometimes that I, like family catechesis, I'm teaching that. So sometimes,
But we
yeah.
both work with that kind of job where we're
Right.
having to have some kind of lecture or have some kind of
Yeah.
learning experience. It gets tiring after a while, even
Yeah.
from our end, not just the students and teach. We get tired too.
Right.
Believe it or not, we get really tired.
Right. I know.
We look forward to the breaks just as much as what you do. We don't want to turn youth nights into that.
Right. Yeah, we don't want this to be lectured. You're coming and it's us just lecturing on a subject to you. We're here to just, like I said, build a community, a family, like I think we both experienced when we were here.
It's our family that really
Right.
opened us up to talking to people
Right.
more than what we did before.
And I think, I don't know, I forgot what I was saying, but anyway, we just really don't want this to be another classroom. That's what I was going to say. You're, at least if anybody's listening that's in high school, you're already being asked to come to confirmation and go to PSR if you're in public school. So, that's already 2 classes you're asked to do on the weekend. So we definitely don't want to ask that of you, a third time.
And for those high schoolers, just I know that a lot of you have already been to youth nights
Yeah.
or impact nights, they called them before. If that didn't work for you, give us another chance. This is different.
Right. I
This-
think
this is an entirely
I
different
think we
thing.
have been kind of talking as if nobody's attended, but there could be people listening that have been to a youth night in the past. Whether that was, that could be people that are seniors now that would have been in high school with, in middle school with Lynette. So, even then, I know some of you hopefully maybe experienced that, and just know that we're building on that. We're taking the stuff that worked, and
I think the way we've described it is we want to bring
Yeah.
it back to what it was with Lynette,
right,
but then we want to go beyond that.
right.
and
There's
go
certain
even
things that
farther.
worked. There's some things that have always needed to be changed, and so we're trying to do that. We're trying to accomplish that. But anyway, back to, so the podcast is the same thing. We're just here, to have those conversations, and nothing necessarily serious. I think, we talked about having an episode that's just about childhood TV shows and movies and stuff or whatever. And I know we want to have some guests on. There will be some more serious ones where, we have some people on from other ministries in the church that
And that way they can advocate for
Right.
their ministries too. But don't think that if you ever see an episode where it's like, oh, we're talking to the people with the
Right.
food pantry, don't think that we're just going to be sitting here talking about food pantry.
right,
We're going to have them on, and they're going to talk about it a little bit at some point, but we're going to have the same kind of conversations with them as what we're having with each other
Yeah.
in these episodes.
so those are a little more serious, but
And if you ever had anything that you want to see,
yeah,
on
if
the
you have any
podcast,
suggestions, yeah, for sure.
the Instagram, which we did this in the last podcast, we
Yeah.
can do it again. We can put it somewhere
Blaine,
right here.
you had the opportunity. You didn't have to do it again, but you did it anyway.
I did.
Now you're leaving me no choice. So the Instagram, and TikTok, and well, if you're watching this, you're already on YouTube, but I'll put it here anyway. Will be somewhere in this box. I'll make it right in
Well,
between us.
YouTube's
It'll
not
be
as
right
important. You can put it down somewhere right here. I'm talking about like Instagram and everything in
Right.
the very middle.
Right. It'll be here
That.
somewhere, Blaine. Hopefully. I will try my best. If not, I'll make sure everything's in the description.
If he can't do it, he just made me look like an idiot just flailing my arms around. But hopefully the Instagram is right here.
Right. So yeah, have guests on, whatever. We definitely don't know everything we're going to talk about, but
I know definitely some of the stuff that we wanted to talk about was just talking about some of like the youth trip memories that we had.
Right. Yeah, that was going to say the
and
trips.
Just some of the things that we've done with the youth group, funny stories that we have.
Yeah.
I've got plenty of those. Just little, even if it's little short stories that I have of things that we did.
Yeah.
And they're usually pretty funny at my expense, but that's just how it usually goes.
Let's talk about, I guess we got into it a little bit, but, what do you remember from youth nights that you enjoyed?
So, to start, just in all of youth nights together, I
Right.
really enjoyed the fact that this became like another family to me. Like, is all the people that came together each night, we at some point had gone just beyond being just close friends. It's kind of having like a community of friends that became more like a family.
Yeah.
And I think that's important for us to have, especially with all the problems that we have in the world, that we have a group of people that we can lean back on and complain to and play games with and just relax with. And that, to me, was the most important part of youth group. Just fun things that we did that I enjoyed. We had games that were just games that you wouldn't be able to typically do because of a lack of people that you could do these
Yeah.
things with. But the games like Fox and the Hound around campus.
Yeah, Fox and the Hound is a good one, which we'll try to do at the first night, and probably Sardines is always a classic,
Sardines,
and
Mat Ball.
yeah, Mat Ball, all
Um,
stuff. We'll try to do all that, and love a good game.
There was the occasional time when we found a new game and everyone's like, "Oh, this is going to be great," and it just
Yeah.
flops, and we end up all just doing something completely different than originally
And
scheduled.
that's honestly my problem is, I feel like we've gone through a lot of games, and I was searching earlier because I have to get games for a retreat, and it's really hard to find games that high schoolers are gonna enjoy because
Whatever you do not play Quidditch again. I remember
we tried that.
Someone tried to explain that to us one night.
That was probably me, to be honest with you, because I bought the rule book and I was like, "Oh, this would be so fun."
It was the most confusing.
I do remember. Yes,
thing.
yes, I do remember. We tried to play that. Yeah,
And
that
we tried
didn't
to play
work.
with pool noodles, and it just
Yeah,
ended
yeah.
up all of us just fighting with pool noodles, slapping each other with
Yeah,
pool
that
noodles.
didn't work. You know what? You just unlocked a memory. I did not. I forgot
In
that we even
fact-
tried to do that.
Now that I'm bringing it up, I'm starting to uncover it. I believe it was you that we all just started hitting with the pool noodles as you were trying to explain the rules. Of
I don't remember, but we've played some fun games.
We
There
did
was that
javelin
game.
with it too.
What?
We did javelin with the pool
Javelin?
noodles too. That was something. It was
Oh.
like it was some kind of like small youth night Olympics thing
Yeah.
that someone had put together,
Oh yeah,
and
I
we
don't
did
know.
like javelin and
Yeah.
threw the noodles across the gym.
I'm not really remembering that one, but there's that game. I don't remember what it was called. It was one I found. We had some rubber chickens, and you had to
Wait,
like get them. I don't even remember exactly how to play that. I have to find it again. But we had the buckets on each end, and it was sort of I guess sort of in a way, rubber chicken basketball.
I feel
a
like
little
I
bit,
remember
but
that.
I know that one was pretty popular. We did it at least 3 times because I know people asked for it again. But
I tell you what it was. I remember what it is now because it was some kind of rubber chicken basketball.
yeah,
And I remember that was just something that I'd buried deep in all the different youth group stories that just kind of like blended in with everything else. Years later, I'm doing a project at LSU where I'm traveling from different churches around Baton Rouge to really, and we were defining what Christianity was to
Yeah.
Baton Rouge. It was a really cool project, and I would be happy to share with people if you're that interested. But not too many people are interested in that's just kind of a me thing. But I was traveling church to church, and I was seeing what they did in their services. And this one that I visited, the pastor comes out and throws rubber chickens at us.
Hmm.
And they had these little things that you could put on your finger to where you could pull them back and just let them fly. And it brought back that youth group memory of us playing rubber chicken basketball.
Yeah, I wish I could remember. I don't remember exactly what that game's called, or it's definitely not played just like basketball, but I cannot remember. But I know that one was popular. That was something I came up with. Well, let me not say I came up with it. Something I found. That didn't flop.
I do know that whenever you came up with a game or you brought a game up, it was either one of the most fun games that we could play,
or it was one of the,
or
or one of the worst.
that had so many rules and such like a large rule book that everyone was just
actually
staring at you, waiting for you to be done with the rules, and then you forget half of them by the time you're done.
I actually, one year, I don't remember when I did this. I just went online and found as many games as I could that I thought people would like, and I have a bunch of rules for different like card games and stuff, different poker games, and I put that together and I gave it to Lynette. And actually, when I started, I was going through the filing cabinets and it was in there. My binder of games is in my office. I'll be honest, I went through it and I was like, these kind of suck. To be honest with you, there's some in there that were not good, not good. There's some in there still that we've never used, never tried, so I don't know if they're good or not. But anyway, I do love to find a good game.
It's gonna be helpful when we start a youth group.
No, Mat Ball was always very popular, and that's something I learned at Central and PE. I had never played Mat Ball, never heard of Mat Ball before I took PE at Central. And
I obviously had a different coach than you.
Yeah, no. They changed right after I graduated. They changed to where like they had to actually teach stuff. But my freshman and sophomore year, it was just like we showed up and they put stuff out and they were just like, oh, play basketball or play badminton or just whatever.
I remember from high school PE, I'm really bad at badminton. Really bad.
See, I'm not too bad. I'm not too bad.
I'm terrible at badminton.
And the good thing is, Blaine, we have 3 or 4 sets of nets that can be used for pickleball or badminton.
Now you're talking
or any
my
of those.
Game. I can play pickleball.
So, well, unfortunately, I don't think we have paddles, but it can be set up as a pickleball net. So we may have to figure that out. May have to get that before February 4th, which is gonna be our official kind of youth group relaunch party in the back parking lot. We'll have some music.
Party in the back lot, y'all.
Yeah, we'll have music.
Booths that will have
I don't know.
Yeah, games.
I don't know whether the music's gonna come in the form of a band or just a phone, but
I'll have
we'll see.
Booths for games.
Yeah.
And there'll be some places set up where you can get more information on what we're doing with youth nights. If you want to find out more about things like Steubenville, which is something we could talk about.
Yeah.
If you want to find out more about our possible youth trip that we're taking. If you want to find out more information about just anything youth night related. We might even have something up for the podcast where you can come and watch like some little snippets of what we're doing here.
So we'll have prizes. We'll have some stuff to give away, and music. We'll play some group games, and I guess we'll set up the nets and stuff. But
Father Biggie signed merch.
Yeah, I mean hey, if we can get them here, that'd be great. So, excited. So anyway, so what I was gonna say was, I don't want I don't want this podcast to be too, informational, but we are starting out going to be, so that, like you said earlier, the first night is is January 21st, assuming this podcast comes out before then, which it hopefully
I'm
will.
holding you to it.
Hopefully it will. Then you are seeing this before that night happens. So just, real quick, that is, we're doing middle school 4 to 5:30 on Sundays, right? So the first one's January 21st.
Yes.
High school will be 6:30 to 8. And
that's on the Instagram as well.
yeah, so that'll be on the Instagram. And, if you sign up for the flock note, you'll get a text about it. But, so, like, it's starting out, so the first one's the 21st, and then we're doing the kind of relaunch party on the 4th, which is 2 weeks later. So we're going to kind of start out just every other week while we get a feel for it and figure out, if what we're doing is working. And eventually,
Checking the numbers, making sure we have enough
checking
people.
the numbers, see if there's anything that, maybe some of our ideas aren't working the way we thought they would. So anyway, eventually we will get back to every week. And that includes, even though we're doing on Sundays right now, the people that are coming consistently, if Sundays isn't the best day for them and it's a Tuesday or a Wednesday, whatever, then we'll, we can always change it to those days.
We're definitely willing to change because we want to make this all about you is the key to this. We want to make this youth-centered.
Right, yeah.
As I said before, me and Colby are just facilitators
We'll be here any night that we need to be. But I think overall we've gotten a pretty good response to Sundays, so that's where we're starting, but that can change. So, I think we're excited. We talked about ourselves. I'll just mention real quick that we have a young adult board of other people that will be helping us, mentor or whatever.
Their bios should be up pretty soon for
right.
you to find out more about them. I'll have their names and their pictures and a little bit more about them on Instagram. So,
but that's, I think we're excited about that just because it's people that have, they were all part of the youth group in the past. Some of them were on our youth board. So, they have seen themselves what was working and they can tell us what they enjoyed. But ultimately, again, it's going to be up to, the middle schoolers and high schoolers to tell us what they want out of this. And we will do our best to make that happen. That's our main goal. So, I think, we're excited. And you have anything else?
I think if you would like to, we can give them a little taste of what we're doing with the podcast each episode. Essentially, what we want to do is we're not coming in with any kind of script.
Right.
We're coming in just maybe we'll talk about a topic that we want to cover, or maybe if it's something that you comment on that you want to see in a video, we'll pull it and we'll try to talk about that. But on the typical podcast, we're just going to come in with something random. Maybe it's a game that I have prepared for Colby to do, or Colby will come in with a quiz or something for me to take. Something for us to do and interact with. That doesn't mean that it's always going to be centered around something just Catholic.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that we understand.
These podcasts may be very random where we start with one topic and then get into a game that has nothing to do with that topic and then we start on something else. We're going to go with the flow of where these conversations take us. We'll start somewhere, but I don't know where we'll end up because I think both of us, as we learned yesterday, can go very off topic.
We can. And I can talk for years and years and years, and that doesn't help our situation out much. But essentially, even though we're not talking about Catholic topics, what we're doing is we're giving you a taste of what youth nights are like. This is what the family is. This is what our community is.
Right.
And maybe it'll start conversations that we can have at youth nights.
I think that's one thing that I didn't mention yesterday, but I think something we may try to do is kind of record these podcasts. After there will always be one that's after a youth night or whatever. Maybe we can do a quick
A youth
review of
night
how we feel
recap.
like. Yeah, a recap and kind of talk about what we think worked but I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. We don't have this fully planned out. Again, it's still in the process of being built, just like our walls. But I mean,
I will say something that I've been wanting to do, and something I think that our backdrop is going to suggest a little bit. I'm not going to tell you who did it or who gave it to me, but for our youth Christmas party, we had a
right,
gift exchange, and I just so happened to pull this Hot Santa Rocks, which is a little Santa 6 pack full of different hot sauces. Now, these aren't hot enough to do what I'm planning on doing,
right.
but I definitely
Those are
think
nothing.
we need to have some kind of hot wing challenge inside
Yeah,
of here. Me and Colby do some kind of questions and hot wings.
yeah.
And I'm not going to say the name of the other shows, so they can't
Good,
do
good
anything
idea.
to us.
Good idea.
In fact, it's not even
Um,
wings that we're using. What are we going to put it on? Let's put on like chicken thighs.
I do love chicken thighs.
Chicken thighs are better than wings.
They are.
Way better than wings. It's more meat,
Yeah,
a lot more juicy.
it is. That was one of my. Well,
Wings are dry.
I don't want to say any names. But there is a restaurant that decided, when there was a wing shortage, they started selling thighs, and they stopped. They got rid of them, but that was my favorite thing to get instead of wings. They would do thighs, and you got so much more, because they're different sizes. They didn't count the pieces. They just filled the plate. Ugh, those were the best.
I will say when it comes
But
to fried chicken, the drum is the best. To me, I
mm,
love a drum. Now the breasts are good, but
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, everyone likes the
it's
breast though.
good. But yeah, I mean it's good, but definitely the driest piece. So here we are again, Blaine.
One of those rabbit holes
Talking
that we
about
talked about.
we're talking about fried chicken. We went from the youth group to fried chicken.
As you can see, our podcasts are going to be very random, and
So I
we'll
guess
just
yeah,
at
there you
random
go. You
tangents.
wanted to give them insight on how our podcast were gonna go. That's it. So, um,
Oh wait, did you hear the news?
no, Blaine, I did not hear the
Did
news.
you did you hear what happened? Did you hear Willie Nelson got hit by a
Oh,
bus?
okay. I did not hear that, Blaine.
Well, he was playing on the road again.
Okay.
That was a good one. I heard that from someone
Okay.
else.
All right.
I gotta say, I didn't come up with that joke.
Which was gonna lead me into my next thing. I know we talked about it a lot yesterday. Well, I'm gonna go off of that. We talked about it a lot yesterday. I don't want to go into too much detail about it, and you mentioned it a little bit. I think we want to dedicate a podcast to trips, but I do want to just throw out there that we're working on this summer Steubenville, which I will again describe as, it is the Catholic Passion Conference. So we're working on that. We'll have more information, I guess, in another podcast, but we'll also have that
And if you don't
on
know what
February
passion
4th.
is, just to be sure that we have
Yeah,
people out there. So if you haven't heard of passion, that's just like a large like concert worship type deal.
right.
With Steubenville, picture you're going to a concert where the key performance is the adoration of Jesus
Yeah,
and the Eucharist. So it's basically picture the Catholic Mass meets concert, and
yeah.
that's where you get Steubenville.
So we can definitely talk about that a little more another time, but also we're working on, we used to take fun trips. I went to, we did Dallas and we did Six